To address the Big Ideas Platform 2023 is Ogbole Samson. Farmer Ogbole Samson is a true pioneer in the field of agriculture, is a visionary leader who is using technology to revolutionize the way we grow food. His work at Pepshire Place Limited is groundbreaking and it has the potential to transform the global food system. He is a member of the Royal Court of the Oni of Ife, the traditional ruler of Ile-Ife, Nigeria. A TEDx and TED platform talker, he was recognized as one of the top 7 innovators in Africa by CNN Africa in 2018. Samson has also been recognized as one of the top 100 global leaders combining profit and purpose to help achieve the UN SDGs by Meaningful Business MB100 in 2019, a winner of the Future Agro Challenge 2020. Please welcome to the Big Ideas Platform, Farmer Ogbole Samson.
So our services at Soilless Farm Lab include we have first and foremost farmers. And our kind of farming is soilless farming, where we grow crops without the use of soil within controlled environment or protected environment. And this protected environment could be net house, a screen house, or a greenhouse, depending on the biotic and abiotic factors that the plant requires per time. Much more than that, we are also involved in training, where we teach young people between the ages of 18 and 29 how to replicate what we do. We're so involved in storage and logistics, and finally farm management, where we set up farms and help people manage. Now, my big idea is around the training aspect, because as a nation right now, it's no news that the average age of the Nigerian farmer is about 60 years. And a lot of young people are not interested in agriculture. And this is a ticket time bomb, because it means that in another 20, 30 years, the farmers of today will be too old to cultivate the land. Thus, there is a need to start asking, how do we ensure that we can feed the future? So there is a need to bring in youth into agriculture, but we cannot do it by running jingles and all of that, because like I would always say, to get youth into the banking sector, into entertainment, into the oil sector, there was no need to run jingles. First, it was because the youth saw that those in these sectors were able to afford a decent life. By default, there was an attraction to come into such sectors. And this is what we are also trying to do with agriculture. And to do this, we have a training we call Work, Learn, and Earn, or Enterprise for Youth in Agriculture. And this is a 3-month training where we bring in interested students into our facilities for 3 months. Now, first, the training is provided for free to learn how to set up the greenhouse, how to set up the hydroponic system, how to plant. All of that is taught for free for 3 months, not just theoretically, but they actually get to set up farms. Number 2, we provide free accommodation for them while undergoing the training. So they are not looking for where to stay. They get free accommodation on the farm. Number 3, we also provide for them a monthly stipend, because we understand the majority of the young people who are coming to us for training do not even have a source of income. So it is not enough to teach their minds. We also need to feed their stomach to prepare them for the future. Much more than that, during the training, we put them in clusters and set them up as a company. So they have a company registration done for them by us. We create a brand identity for them, and of course, ensure that they are visible on social media, where people are able to reach out to them, follow their activities, see what they are doing. Then we provide a land space of about 3 plots, about 3 plots for them to set up, so that during their practicals, the greenhouses they are set up are theirs to manage at graduation. So they are not just getting the knowledge, going back home to say we don't have anything to do, but rather they now have a farm, they have a company that they can manage. Then we connect them to a market so that they are able to sell off all their produce. So for our growth cycle, we start first with training while providing accommodation, stipend, help them to do their farm setup, put them in clusters, ensure they have a company, create a brand identity, help them partner with reputable companies as well as ours, and finally, they now become on their path to becoming entrepreneurial farmers at the end of the day. Now, beyond these, we also ensure that we create a complete environment within the farm premises. So on the farm, we have a church, we have a mosque that is run again by the students. We have a sports facility that has volleyball, that has football pitch, standard volleyball and football pitch, that has table tennis, snooker, different board games from Ayo to Ludo to Scrabble to chess, different games they can play. Much more than that, we also have great community engagement. So because we are located in a very, very local village where we don't even have electricity in the village, one of the things we had to do was engage the locals, our host community, and we realized one of their biggest issue in the community was transportation to go out. So we have to provide something they call tricycles, we call it kekemaruwa here, for them to be able to move out. So we got the men in the villages to handle or manage the keke as a source of incomes for themselves. While in the farm, we also have a market that we are able to create in the village. So before we came in here, typically, the village has what they call this once in 5 days market. So in every 5 days, there is a market. But because of the community we are building, bringing in more people into the town, we have been able to create a market that runs for 7 days a week, Mondays through Sunday. So all of these we have provided then. Because this village does not have electricity, thanks to Elon Musk Starlink, we were able to bring internet to the village. Now people can access internet at 100 naira per gig. Much more than that, we also realized that the closest health center to where the farm is located, surrounded by over 12 villages, is a minimum of an hour, 30 minutes away, assuming you have your own car to drive. So what we also had to do is right now we have built a community health center. In the health center, we provide free medication for children aged 5 and below, as well as those aged 70 and above. Then also provide free Medicare for all pregnant women, either among some of our students or the villagers. Then much more than that, for the children aged 10 and below, some of the trainees saw this on their own and realized they can provide a form of basic education for these kids, such that now they are preparing them to write the common entrance to GSS 1. So children within 10 and 0, or at times 12 and 0, that have never been to school are getting free education within the farming community to prepare them for their GSS 1 so they can continue their life. Much more than that, we also have the adults in the community who do not understand English at all, learning how to speak English through the free education some of the students we are training are providing for them. We have been able to fix the roads such that before we moved into the village, you just had one pathway into the village, but now we have a proper road that has been created. We are doing skill retooling. That we've also been able to provide security in the village. I remember before we came in to this village, there were stories around, oh, do not come because there are a lot of kidnappings in the village. But today, we've been able to provide 6 levels of security. We use what they call Amotekun, that's the local village, the Southwest security system. We have Amotekun, we have police, we have Legion, that's a paramilitary outfit. We have Oscar Lima, that is a private security outfit. We have OPC, we have Vigilante, and we have civil defense, all working within these communities to ensure that since we've been here, there has been no major, any issue of like, this is a crime or that. We could have petty theft them. Much more than that, we are almost done with installing CCTV cameras around the whole of the farm to ensure that anybody within the length and breadth of the farm feels safe. We still know that as a farm, there is still a lot we want to achieve, despite what we are doing by bringing in 1,000 young people who are 60% women minimum and 40% male into our community. We are still working on creating a better market because we know with a better market, they get better value for their effort. We are also working on increasing the storage facility on the farm so that they have a place to store that they are not forced to sell just because it is ready. Then we are also creating more linkages and still wish to create more between B2B and B2B2C. Then the goal is at the end of 2025, we want to ensure that with this hub, we are able to create a real African brand that can compete with bigger brands in Europe to say, this is African, this is Nigeria, this is vegetable from Nigeria, these are flowers, herbs, and spices from Nigeria, from this hub. So we want to create also a big agricultural processing zones as we increase the number of smallholder farmers in this our facility, because we believe that the smallholder farmers do not all have to be big to be profitable, but rather they can enjoy the safety of being small and through collaboration enjoy the profitability of being big. This is what we are trying to do. At the end of the day, we want to ensure that the hub first and foremost is climate smart. We want to ensure that agriculture is cool for the young people to happily come into it. We want to ensure that agriculture for them becomes a platform for food, for income, and for job, to ensure that at the end of the day, when poverty is defined in the future for Africans, food is not used as the metrics for the definition. And much more than that, we want to ensure that, because I'm sure that everybody here has heard stories like, oh, Africa, we feed the world, Africa, we feed the world. But the reality is they are not saying Africans, we feed the world, which means there is still that probability that strangers will come into our town, use our resources to feed the world, and we will not become those who are enslaved to them. So we want to ensure that not only will Africa feed the world, but Africans are in the driving seat of feeding the world with the resources